Good evening, Mrs. Martha Fields.
Miss.
Martha
Not married,
Fields.
I'm not married.
Some call you Texas Martha.
That's right.
But that we'll explain later on. In these unusual times, thank you a lot for making some time free for us, for Rootstime. The still most wanted and visited Dutch website in what we call the Lowlands.
Oh, nice.
That's Holland and Belgium.
Yeah.
Because we both speak the same language.
Right.
Okay. About last year, the pandemic. What was the reboot? Touring again in Europe, and your latest release. How did that feel?
Well, I wrote most of these songs during the first confinement, and then it was really difficult to even record it because we couldn't travel in France more than like 15 kilometers, so I couldn't get with the band. Mm-hmm. But eventually, when the first moment we could get together, we recorded it, and we all went to the country and stayed together for about a week in a house in a studio. But we lost so many concerts, 60 or 70 concerts.
Do things feel now different? Do you do things otherwise?
I think so. I mean, I think we appreciate more. I think that when we can play
again.
And I think music is more important. But I worry that people have become too used to sitting at home on their couches, And people are still afraid. People are afraid. Yeah. Of course, everyone's afraid, but we can't. We need the music.
Did you write your songs? You told us that you wrote a lot of songs during the pandemic.
I did.
Did you write in another way, or?
Well,
were you another songwriter?
Maybe so. I mean, I know there's a lot of sad songs on the album. There's a lot of political songs always. I just write what I feel, so however I'm feeling at the moment, that's what I write, so.
Like I said, I told you, Texas Martha. You are from Texas.
I'm from Texas. I claim I'm from Texas.
Yeah, but you live along?
I lived most of my life in Texas, actually. Yeah. But I've also lived in Oklahoma. And my dad was, we lived in Texas and Oklahoma. And when I first started playing in Europe, everybody, that's Texas Martha. Nobody knew where Oklahoma, a lot of people don't know where Oklahoma is. So they called me Texas Martha. And that just kind of became my name. But I'm not known as Texas Martha in America, I'm Martha Fields.
But you live also a part of your life in France. In La Douce France.
In La Douce France, in the Aquitaine.
May I ask you why you take it part of your time there?
Well, I was invited to play some festivals about 8 years ago in France, and then my friend Carol, who you met, she's from Bordeaux, and she lived in Austin. I knew her there, so she said, so I came and spent some time there, and I did that for a couple of years, and then I put this band together, and we got a lot of dates, and I needed to become more permanent because I only could stay 3 months of the year in Europe for a work permit. So I applied for residency, and I love the lifestyle. I love playing in Europe.
That's why we call it La Douce France. Everything is so easy.
The bureaucracy's not easy, but but it's a good life, and
it's a good life.
I like being close to the ocean and close to the mountains, and good food, good wine, and I found a great team of musicians. So,
can you tell us how it all started with your music, or was it so that you were a little bit destined to become a musician?
I think so.
Because of the family, environment, or?
Yes, my mom is from a long line of Appalachian bluegrass musicians. So my mom's from West Virginia, and right on the border between West Virginia and Kentucky. So a lot of my family live on the Kentucky side, and a lot of them live on the West Virginia side. My family's been there for over 300 years, maybe 400 years, and that's my first memory, is singing with my mom and her sisters. And my great uncle was one of the first kind of boogie woogie pickers in Nashville in the 30s, and So there was always music. I mean, we'd play every night, every weekend. And I grew up, nobody has ever had any formal music training. Me too. And we just start playing and singing, you know.
It was something in the family. Yeah.
In the family. And so I've always been playing. And I started writing songs when I was really small child.
Did you have also what we call idols? People that you have been influenced by?
Well, a lot of it was my family.
Oh, yeah,
but always, you know, friends. You know, I love Hank Williams. You know, and I love Woody Guthrie, and a lot of the old, you know, female blues too. You know, and the old, you know, Southern blues guys. I love those people, but I loved Janis Joplin. You know, when I was a kid, you know, and Willie Nelson, you know. I mean, I grew up with all that sort of Texas music, but Texas country music is a little bit different. You know, we have a lot of blues in Texas.
Some people say that folk music, country music is getting old-fashioned. It's losing its edge. Do you agree with that, or what's your reaction?
Well, I think maybe Nashville's quite different. You know, it's become very commercial to me, and a lot of it sounds the same. And
that's why I think that they react that way.
There's like a formula, you know. There's like this formula that people follow. Texas country music is quite different. You know, there's a lot of variety, and but you know, I'm classically like here. You know, like the blues people think I'm country. And the country people think I'm blues, and the bluegrass people, or bluegrass. You know, because I'm quote unquote Americana because my mother is hillbilly and my dad is Texan, and then I have lived so many places. So I'm always in the genre is really big for me, and I like that because I never get bored. You know, and the sound changes. The concert is, you know, goes in and out of the blues, country, rock and roll, folk, bluegrass, and I think and the albums are like that, and it may, you know, technically hurt me in some way because but everybody I'm converting people, you know, to different styles, I think.
Okay, you are a songwriter. Is songwriting for you an ongoing process?
Oh yeah.
Every day, or every place? Oh no, not every day.
I'm always thinking.
The place or the right place, the right time.
Yeah, I'm always thinking.
And then you write down something?
I make notes, and I'll always have something, and I have all these notes, these ideas, and sometimes I just let them, you know, I just let them sit there. And then I have to be in the mood, and then I will just I live in a little chapel. It's a little church. That's a house now.
That's your house, yeah.
And I just kind of isolate myself, and for like a week or 2 weeks, and you know,
just
writing, and
putting down your
ideas and working on songs
on your own.
On my own.
Great.
Always on my own, and it's because I don't read or write music, and so what I do is I record myself, and then I get together with them. And I go, this is how I want it to sound, you know, and I'll describe it.
And then you ask him, what do you think about it? No.
Oh, no, they're like, yeah, let's do it like this, you know. And then I give them a lot of freedom of how their parts. But I already have it pretty much formulated in my mind of how I want it. And then we work on it for an hour or two, and then we record them, you know.
Mm-hmm. Great. I got some albums from Freddie.
Yeah.
He said, listen to them because Martha is coming and you have to interview her. So I listened, and the first one I got that was the 2015 Long Way From Home. It's not on. It's not on the disc, I think, but it's not a problem. There was one song where red grass.
I'm gonna have a drink.
No problem.
There was one song on it where the red grass grows.
Yes, sir.
It's a song about Oklahoma.
Yes.
But you can feel there is more in the song. Can you tell us about what's the song going on?
Sure. Well, you know, it may not be obvious, but I'm part Cherokee Indian. and I have a lot of Indian grandmothers. And
that's the red grass now.
Well, it's a place in Oklahoma. It's called Tahlequah, and it is the capital of the Cherokee Nation. You know, they were moved from the southeast of the United States to Oklahoma in the 1830s. And there's a university in Tahlequah. It was the first university west of the Mississippi River. And it was a Cherokee women's university, and I graduated from there.
Oh.
So I have a lot of Cherokee family and friends there. And I lived a big part of my life there. It's a magnificent place, Tahlequah. It's Cherokee County, Oklahoma.
Okay.
And so I moved to Hollywood in my teens. And it's a song about that, being in California and missing, you know, and I had a bad relationship and moved back to Oklahoma. And so it's a
very personal song.
It's about that.
Then we go to 2016.
Yeah, Southern White Lies.
The album Southern White Lies.
This right here.
Yeah, this one.
This one.
But the title is about lies. Who is lying? Who are the bad people?
Who the liars?
Yeah, who are the bad people?
I think it's the mythology of America that, you know, we're the best. You know, that if you're poor, it's your fault. You know, if you're I just think it's this sort of mythology for me of America, is that a white lie for us is it doesn't appear that it's a lie, but it really is a lie. You know, like you come to America, you can become rich. You know, this is a white lie. And so to me, I feel a lot of the history, you know, it's about propaganda and things that it's just it's a myth, you know, for me.
Then we have to go to 2018.
Yeah.
That was the album.
The Dancing Shadows.
For me, it was the best.
Have you even heard this one?
Yeah, wait, but
I love this one too.
But the third one for me was great album.
That's interesting.
14 songs about your story, your life.
Yeah, they all are.
But what I tasted a bit was the homesickness, loneliness.
Yeah.
Is that correct or?
Always, you know. But I love it here, you know. But I think, you know, it's always, you know, absence makes the heart grow fonder. But it's also because, you know, I saw what's happened to America in my lifetime. You know, things were better, I think, overall when I was younger. People had a better quality of life. The middle class. And but it's also you know, the thing about Dancing Shadows, the title comes from one particular song, which is called Suki, which is the title track.
Suki, yes.
And this was my great.
In that song you call yourself, I thought, the queen of my cavern.
She was the queen of her.
It's not about you.
Cavern.
No. Cavern of cavern.
Cavern, like
cavern.
like grotte.
Yeah.
She lived in a cave. My grandmother, and yeah, she was an Indian woman, and Suki means green onion. In Cherokee.
That was my problem. What does Suki?
It was her name.
Her name
was Suki, and they called her Susan, but her real name was Suki, and she lived in a cave. And I'll show you. You don't have the other one. Oh no, it's in here.
I have not the first one.
It's in here. This is her daughter.
Yes,
this is Suki's daughter. And that's Martha. That's the first Martha. I'm the third Martha. She was born in that cave. And her mother had 8 children in that cave and no husband. And I went to it was a mythology for our family of my grandmother living in this cave and putting a blanket over the opening to the cave to keep warm. And everybody, all the grandchildren, great-grandchildren all heard this story. So I took my mother, and this year I wrote this album, to this place in West Virginia. And we spent all day trying to find it. And my mother then was like 80 years old, so she couldn't climb the mountain to go into the cave. But she saw me. I did. And I crawled in the cave and, you know, just started, you know, crying, you know, picturing her, who my mother knew, living in this cave. And I saw my own shadow on the wall And so, and then I started having all this imagery of them living with the fire in there and all these shadows. And that's where the whole inspiration for the album came from.
Great story. Like you said, you call yourself Martha the Third.
I'm Martha the Third.
But how do you want to be remembered when you're gone? What do you want that the people remember of Martha Fields?
I think they're right there, and it's kind of my view of the world, my history, the way I see things, and it's a wonderful thought for me. I don't have children, so that this will be a legacy
Yes.
for me somewhere, and my whole story and my family's
It's
story.
very important to know your background.
Yeah, and this last song we won't do this tonight because we have
Long
to have a violin. But one day you'll hear it. But I wrote that song for my dad. That's where my dad's from. Is from Lone Wolf, Oklahoma, and he loved like Bob Wills, the waltzes. So I wrote that for him, and that's his story. But anyway, and then Maxine is my mother. That's my mother.
That's why I like that album. It's a great album.
It's very personal, and this is my mom. Oh. That's me with my first guitar. And then there's a song in here called Demona. That's Demona. Anyway, and then this is our home place in West Virginia, and that's my dad in the Dust Bowl in Oklahoma. That's my dad right there. Anyway, and that's all the guys.
Then it's only one album left, Headed South.
Yeah.
Even a great album, but that album touched me more.
Okay.
Well. But how special is your last album? Is it different when you compare it?
I think it's quite varied. There's some kind of more New Orleans, of sounding stuff, kind of swampy, like In My Garden. It's kind of like a Tony Joe White kind of, for us, kind of more swampy kind of sound. And I wrote that song about during the first confinement, everybody in France thought they were going to starve to death. Mm-hmm. So because they thought everybody rushed the stores, you couldn't find food, so everybody started gardening.
Also special songs on it, or more songs that you say that's also a special one for me? For me, you told us your daddy's song, yeah? No, that's on this. No, sorry, that was on. This song, is about COVID. Roses, really. Yeah. It's about coronavirus, really. For me, we love this song, and we have never played it yet. Because we've got to really work on how Manny's got to figure out which instrument he's going to play, on the song, because he plays so many. But everybody seems to, the band loves this song. I love Hillbilly Babylon, because it's another very personal story of my family, and because I've seen, I know how my grandparents lived in Appalachia, and how people live, and how things have really gone down so bad. And that's really what Headed South means, is going down.
Going down, yeah.
And we have a cemetery that's the only thing we have left. We used to own 500 acres of this place. This is where my grandparents settled in 200 years ago, and now all we have is the cemetery that's on the top of the hill. We own that, and all of my relatives are buried in that cemetery. So when we all come back, or I still have family living around, everybody goes there. Mm-hmm. And so the song is about that cemetery, really. I call it my Hillbilly Babylon.
Okay.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, very nice stories about your songs, about your albums. What are your plans for the near future? Do you have all the bad is past? So
I hope so. It feels like things are coming out of a dark hole. Yeah. We have a lot of dates in November. We're playing Seclin near Lille in a big place. We've got a bunch of big dates coming. Big theaters. I've also started kind of a little jazz band because
Jazzy.
the French like jazz. And so I can't find a lot of places to play really close to me, and there's all the vineyards, you know. And everybody's always asking me, can you do jazz? And I go, well, I can do jazz, but I'm not changing who I am. You know, it's my style of jazz. It's more swingy, kind of bluesy country jazz. And I'm writing songs to sing. So it's a lot about Bordeaux wine. I've written a song for the Vignoble of Bordeaux, which I'm hoping to sell them. I wrote another song on the first album. I don't know if it was about Bordeaux.
Okay.
And actually, the Bordeauxville, they used it in some of their publicity, Streets of Bordeaux. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so I'm doing a little bit of that, but I'm trying to book for next year, of course. We've got a lot of big festivals we're playing. I think we're going to go to Poland, maybe back to Lithuania. We've played that a couple of times. Mm-hmm. We're coming back to the Netherlands. All over France, of course. Spain, we're going back to Spain for a few dates, and then thinking of new songs, and
life goes on.
Life goes on, you know.
Okay, like usual. I have 2 questions to finish. What was the best advice that somebody gave you?
About music?
General.
Oh my gosh.
An advice that is kept inside.
Well, and I don't know if it's necessarily advice. I think it's something that someone said to me that, like my grandfather, my mother's father. Well, I think my mom's family, I think developed a lot of really strong women. Mm-hmm. We had to be strong to survive. You know, it's like this woman living in the cave. And so my grandfather would always say, like if a woman was being abused, or you know, she was with a man that didn't treat her right or something like that, he'd say, you know, I don't think she thinks very much of herself. So basically what he was saying is to think, you know, you have to take care of yourself.
That's good.
You know, to be strong. Don't let people mistreat you.
Yeah.
And so he'd always say, you know, she doesn't think much of herself. So and he'd always tell me, you know, we have big feet. All the women in my family have large feet. And he'd say, that's because you need a good foundation.
Have the good foundation.
You need a good foundation. So. So I think, you know, my history has given me a good foundation.
I'm sure.
For music.
I have a last question. Also, in these dark times, life goes on, sometimes very fast.
Yeah.
Maybe you have also what we call a bucket list.
Yeah.
A list, a still want to do list.
Yeah.
Do you have some items on it that you say, I want to do this, or maybe someday I want to play with
Eric Clapton?
I don't know about Clapton now. I'm not so happy with Clapton.
Another artist that you say, that's the one.
I'd like to play the Grand Ole Opry. I'd like to play Austin City Limits. I think I have a friend that's on the board of Austin City Limits, and so I mean I could open for somebody. You know, I'm getting to the point where I'm a little too old to maybe be the headliner, but
I'm sure it will come.
I'd like to take these guys back to Austin with me. It's been really hard during the Trump administration to take musicians into America. It was nearly impossible to get work visas for them. But so that's one thing that I'd like to do. I think I'd like to learn to play I'm going to start playing electric guitar, I think, some too. So I'm going to, you know, it'll be fun. Bucket list.
No.
I'm not necessarily, it's not like I don't really want any recognition for myself. Really, you know what I mean? I'm not one of those kind of people that wants, you know, we've had good success with these albums on the charts in Europe and in the U.S., but that wants recognition. I just want to play.
Just like every artist.
I want to just play and bring pleasure to people.
Okay, Miss Waterfields.
Yeah.
Thank you a lot. Merci.
De rien.
For your time, your Rootstime.
Nice.
In our humble musical living room.
I love this place.
And I'm sure the show will be great.
Can't wait to come back.
Thank you a lot.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Martin.
Thank you.